Welcome, hunters. Gin and Juice logging in. This is still not quite as early as I was hoping to start. Just other things keep coming up, and I have to be responsible and all that. Just to make sure things are taken care of. But here I am now. I don't know if this is an unusual time for you to see me, but I'm here. So let's yap about stuff, I guess. I was thinking the other day, had a conversation about anime, of course. One of the more common things to talk about nowadays. And at some point, someone asked me, what lessons are there to be learned from Dragon Ball? Because they don't see it, I guess. Maybe because they haven't watched much of it. But whatever the reason, that got me thinking. It's a good question. What lessons can you take from Dragon Ball? And therefore, by extension, how do I explain the kinds of lessons that's presented in Dragon Ball? So let's talk about it. Brainstorming. I was thinking of course, first the overall story and episodes throughout this series. And what better place to start but at the beginning? So I was thinking, how did it start out? Goku is flying into planet Earth as some weird alien baby, no less. And Grandpa Gohan finds him, takes him in, and tries to raise him. Yes, that's nice and all. So he's given the name Goku. He learns the ways of life on Earth. And eventually, something of his genetics triggers him to become Great Ape by staring at the moon. And it turns out he kills Grandpa Gohan by his own hands because of that. And of course, because he was in Great Ape form, he had barely any consciousness about those actions. It was pure instinct and rage. But once he had came to, with the help of his friends, and he had realized what he had technically done, he feels grief and regret for what he is and what he has done. But he still continues on for everyone else. So, one lesson there you can take is that you should forgive yourself for things you've done as a child, where there is no way you could have known any better, as you were not given the time or the space to learn yet. Like, how could you? You're still young. There's no way you could have learned what better to do in such a short time span. That wouldn't be fair to yourself. And it wouldn't be fair of others to expect that from a child. So you should do the same to your child self, even after you've grown up. Not to bully your child self as you are now of an adult. You should instead forgive yourself for things you've done as a child. And so throughout the episodes, he lives on and does some shenanigans. he continues to honor the lessons he's learned of life from his grandpa Gohan. And come to think of it, most of the friends he's made, he had to fight them first. Even going up to like when he becomes a teenager and an adult, all of his friends that he's made, he had to fight first. I mean, even those who don't really consider him as a friend, but stop being his enemies, he had to fight all of them. Whether it's like General Tao and Yamcha, Tien, even Piccolo. He saw all these people and he has changed their ways to become his friend and to fight for what he believes is good. That's another lesson you can take from it. As you live your life, you fight for what's right, and hopefully be setting a good example for others to follow, whether it be with or without you. Help people find a way towards goodness in life. Then I'm thinking further ahead with that, starting to get into Dragon Ball Z, so to speak. He actually fights Chi-Chi again during a tournament, and she was upset about a promise that those two have made when they were kids, where Goku had promised that he would marry Chi-Chi. And at the time, he said that he didn't know what he was saying because he was just a kid. But, as an adult, he does know now what he has been saying. And as a man of his word, he stuck to his guns and married her. Now, whether it is just because he was trying to stick to his own words to be honorable, or that he actually loved and cared about Chi-Chi, that could be up for debate. I'd say part of it is that he does respect Chi-Chi and cared about her as he does with everyone else. Maybe a little more because he did decide to go with the marriage. So, I don't know. I mean, they're fictional characters anyways, so how much does that actually even matter? I don't know. And then we can start going into like the Saiyan saga, where people of his home origin start invading Earth. Starting with Raditz, and then Nappa, and then Vegeta. They're coming in, start wreaking havoc. And Goku and his friends have to step in and try to defend the planet from these invaders. What lesson can you learn from that? I wonder. And how would I put that? The way I see it, I suppose, in a way, it highlights how, despite your origins, your ethnic backgrounds, your race, if you want to go that far, you could do good things despite of the culture of your origin and their traditions. You know, Saiyans were ruthless galactic pirates destroying planets, meaning they have killed trillions upon trillions of other life forms, all for their own personal gain. Even if it was under the rule of another powerful being, it is still something that they have done even before so. If you look at the story, because the whole point is that they were acting under the commands of Lord Frieza. But nah, they have done their pirating and raiding and pillaging long before another being took over and ruled them. This is already part of their nature. Frieza and, well, King Cold before Frieza noticed their actions and used their powers to dominate them. But all that aside, still, it's a highlight of what Goku's supposed nature was destined to be, and yet despite all of that, thanks to the people that have raised him, and the people who were there for him, and the people that he chose to be there for, he chose a different path than that of his people, where he would instead be a Saiyan warrior, ruthless and destructive, traveling around the galaxy and blowing up planets, snuffing out trillions of lives along with them. That could have been his destiny. But instead, he found a life of peace and justice and goodness. From being on planet Earth, maybe it's a stroke of luck, but another part of it is of his upbringing and his beliefs that he has learned from it. And then the people of his origin come and confront him, and now he has to face what he was. Kind of a reminder of what he had done to his late grandfather when he was a child. Now he's facing similar realities of that once again through the people that he thought didn't even exist, never even thought of, because he didn't know what he was until they came and brought upon a wake-up call of his true nature, quote unquote. So he's having to come into terms and get a grip of that reality and still decide what must he do next, what would be the right thing to do. And by that point where he has basically he's already become a martial arts master at that point, what will he decide to do with his mastery? And so he decides, from all of his training and lessons, to continue fighting for good, even though that is not what he was supposed to be, based on his actual true origins. So that's quite a nice lesson you can take from that. Now, even moving further down, going towards the Frieza saga, where we actually learned of the higher ups that are ordering the Saiyans around. and other galactic beings that Frieza has recruited over the times. Goku is dealing with them, traveling to another planet, Planet Namek. He learns a bit about the origins of the Namekians and all that. And you can take lessons from the other characters that have been introduced there as well. Where Piccolo is also repenting for his past actions. He came from a tribe of like a warrior who was also somewhat similar to the Saiyans, where they were ruthless and destructive, because that's what their tribe was about. Is that who Knuckles was based off of when Sonic was trying to copy a lot of Dragon Ball? I'm kidding. But also not really. That could be what it is. But yeah, going through all of that and coming up to the point where they have to face off against Frieza himself. Vegeta, one of the last remaining Saiyans, nearing his death by Frieza's hand. He's crying and pleading to Goku, the one he calls Kakarot, telling him that Goku may have fought to change the ways of his enemies before to become good, but that will not work on Frieza. That he has to face off without restraints and without mercy against a monster like Frieza. Goku still believed in his ways of helping change people, but he gave Frieza a chance, and it costed him the life of his best friend, Krillin. And that's when he has learned that for once, someone else was right, and that he had to let go and embrace his anger for something so vile that he will use his strength to fight against this vile creature, this merciless and heartless monster, to fight for justice. Not to try and turn him around, but to stop him once and for all. And from that, you can learn that it is okay to set boundaries. There are people who will do you no good, who will tear you down and take away from you. That it is okay to stand your ground and fight back and stop them, even if it must be by your own hands. Because the mercy and grace that you give to them could mean that they take advantage of your kindness and they manipulate you and hurt you. Goku at that time was too kind-hearted to realize the pure evil such as Frieza. But once he did face it, he still stood his ground and fought back. Only this time with a new lesson. A lesson that all of us could take from that. And you know what? Toriyama is actually quite a genius at storytelling, that you get a very similar lesson from the Cell Saga. You know, after the whole Namek Saga and Frieza, and they're going back to Earth and trying to settle with life. Someone from the future comes, turns out to be Trunks, one of Vegeta's children. You're going to know the androids. And then, the androids show up, and they were programmed to seek and destroy specifically Goku, but they would stop at nothing, even if anything were to get in their way, and they would fight back by any means to get to Goku and kill him and all that. And then, plot twist, there's another villain. Turned out to be Cell, and he was programmed to actually take all of the androids' combat data into one to become the ultimate being. Oh, does that sound familiar? Am I telling you that Cell was the inspiration for Shadow? Okay, maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. But anyways, yeah, I keep bringing up Sonic. I know. Because I like Sonic too, believe it or not. But anyways, a very similar lesson is presented through the eyes of Goku's son, Gohan, in which he named him Gohan in honor of his grandfather. Gohan could really only fight when he feels a very strong reason to. Any other time, he would be too scared of hurting others and doing the wrong thing, which, that is a fair point. We could make mistakes and hurt others by mistake, by our own actions, and he was very wary and careful of that. But then, very similar to how Goku had to face against Frieza in that form of monstrosity, now Gohan has to do the same, facing Cell and his monstrosity, where he was merciless and brutal and unforgiving, snuffing out life after life after life, even against something that they once thought was evil, but no, was just programmed to take orders. And even aside of that, they had taken care of things in their own way. But because Gohan was too kind-hearted, something he likely picked up from his father Goku, he made the mistake of giving people chances, and a life was lost because of that. Android 16, in front of his eyes. Even though he fought and spoke with Gohan about, very similar in the way Vegeta told Goku at that time, that it is okay to fight. He had to say it in a different way because Gohan had different mindsets, but it was very similar. The way he had to, in the way that Vegeta had to speak with Goku. Wherein that Gohan had to let go of his restraints. That he had to realize that some people are not worthy of his kindness. That because such kinds of people exist, if he wanted to do something about it, he had to fight back. He couldn't be a bystander, an idler, someone from the sidelines, hoping that they would change their ways for better on their own. No. These people wanted to be bad. And Goku, and now in this case Gohan, had to stand firm and do something about it. Now you know how I said Toriyama is a genius writer? Because it didn't stop there with the Cell Saga and Gohan. Remember that there are more protagonists now than there are antagonists in a way. And you can say it's kind of a cop-out way of doing it, but because Gohan was still somewhat young and arrogant, that he still didn't know what was the right way to do it, even during that moment of change in his mind. He still made a mistake, and Goku stepped in, and he had to sacrifice himself to save what he loved. His family, his friends, his entire planet. So he did what he had to, mostly as a symbolic lesson. Like, it's like a double reminder for Gohan now that he can't slip up when facing up against such monstrosities, these evils, these heartless. Because it keeps costing innocent lives. And it didn't stop there. Because Cell came back because of the way he was built. Even exploding like that, a trace of him remained and grew back and returned even stronger. Because the whole Zenkai boost he had for having Saiyan cells within him. And so that in itself can be another lesson. You keep pushing aside your responsibilities, your obligations, and big problems like that will keep growing more and more and more. And then you will have to deal with it somehow. And so eventually, of course, with the help of friends and family, he finally stood his ground, gave everything he had to fight back and deal with it once and for all. So in a way, it is similar to this lesson presented with the final face-off in the Frieza Saga. but also with something more. With the way Gohan had to deal with it. An even bigger threat that kept growing more and more. And having lost things as a consequence for his inactions. Those are lessons to be learned from Dragon Ball. So yeah, I wanted to yap about that a little bit because yeah, I was chatting with people at one point and we were talking about anime and someone had asked what lessons are there to learn from Dragon Ball, which is a good question, by the way, because there are so many episodes. It's kind of hard to parse through all of it and to figure out if there even is supposed to be a lesson, so to speak, or if it's just a series with a poor excuse to throw in action and flashy lights and ooh ah, very exciting. And of course, no, it's more than that, of course. It actually has some good writing in it. Sometimes. I won't say all the time. Every series has their problems, once in a while. And Dragon Ball is no exception. But still, it has things that you can learn from. I'm just going back to the story, a summary, a quick summary of each parts of the whole series and the story plots of those. Trying to think of how I would view it as a life lesson for each climactic moment, so to speak, I guess, is the best way to put it. And so yeah, those are some of the things that I think serve as a pretty good life lesson. Those moments where you have to learn to forgive yourself for the things you've done as a child, because there was no way for you to have known any better because you were a child and you were not given the time to learn any better. And as growing up where you could spread your beliefs, whether through fighting or other means, to help others change their way and work towards a path of goodness. That's another lesson. And one where you could still choose to do what you believe is good despite of where you came from, whether you had known about it or not, but learned about it later on in your life, that you could still do something different, something you believe to be good despite those of your origin doing bad things. You could learn from the iconic moments in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z that you could stand your ground. Set your boundaries. Actually put your quote-unquote anger as a means of strength to fight back against those who will stop at nothing to do bad things, whatever you may believe to be bad. So those are a few of the bigger lessons that you could learn from the series of Dragon Ball. I don't know, just something I had been thinking about for a while when someone had asked me that. I don't even know if they were asking me specifically. It's just something that came up in conversation. Because nerds that we are talk about anime, and of course Dragon Ball would be one of them. Because why not? Dragon Ball is a good series. But yeah, those are my thoughts on some things I have learned from it. And I'm kinda glad I took the time to parse through my thoughts on the series and the story and the plot points and all that. I think the way I described some parts of it with my viewpoints could be a good thing. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments section. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on it. What do you like about Dragon Ball? What kind of lessons have you learned from the story within Dragon Ball? Who's your favorite character in your fight scene? Let me know. Let me know. I want to hear it. But yeah. I'd start the game now, but it would be as I would run in like 10 minutes. And we have to find something else to yap about in that 10 minutes. And then we can take a quick break for ads and then start the game. But what to talk about? What can I talk about? I guess I can bring up my answers for the question I just asked. You know, about your favorite character and your favorite fight scenes. You know, for the longest time, my favorite character was Gohan because, you know, I was a kid, and around the time I watched Dragon Ball Z during the Cell Saga, and at his age, I was of that age. If that's telling of my age. Oh no, I'm doxing myself of my age again. No, I don't care. But yeah, I would obviously attach to Gohan because same age range there, from the time I've watched it, and I'd say that it's still mostly true. Out of all the characters, I do kind of relate to Gohan the most, even if not fully like him, because there's a lot that I'm not that he is. There's a lot of his characteristics don't really match what I am. Like, yes, I was a timid little boy, I got bullied a lot, and blah blah blah. And yeah, there were points in my life where I snapped and fought back to stand for what I thought was right, even if something threatening and menacing was facing against me. But other things that have gone through in his life and in his personality, I don't personally match with. You know, he still has family, and he was able to live a life of peace and support from friends and family, going to college, finding a love life, and all that. I don't really relate to any of that, but really, most of the characters got to experience those moments in life. Well, at least the Saiyans did. I don't know about Yamcha or Tien or Piccolo. They have chosen, well, at least I know for sure Tien and Piccolo, they have chosen the path of the warrior. Not dealing with any of those mushy love life stuff. W Doomer 5 or something, indicate what you're discussing, not gonna lie. I was talking about, there was one point among chatting with people and friends, we were talking about anime, of course, and of course one of the animes we watched would be Dragon Ball, and someone at some point, I don't know who asked or who the question was directed to specifically, but someone had asked, what life lessons could you learn from Dragon Ball? So I was thinking back on the overall summaries of what I could recall from the series, and I'm thinking, what have I learned and how would I describe such lessons? All problems can be resolved with violence! Yeah! When it comes down to it, you are right. Because what is a rule if not enforced? If there are no consequences to face for breaking a rule, why should there be a rule in the first place? Such a thing can only be enforced with, well, it's in the word enforced, with force. I was trying to figure out how to do that sound placement. I wasn't really sure how Warudo does it with the Oculus Touch. But I figured out. I could put my thumb there. With force! We're going full college kid, not grasping politics properly, but still thinking anarchy is cool mentality with this one sheet. No, I'm not saying anarchy, but you have to think. How do you enforce laws? With the threat of physical force. You have your military, you have the, task force and police units. Those are units of force, and once in a while they have to enact what people would basically consider as violence, because it has to be, because if they don't do it, the opposing side will. It's force against force. So that's why I'm saying, when it comes down to it, it is resolved with violence. Like you see this even in your little fairy tales. The shining knight against the dark forces, and they are fighting with their swords, slicing and stabbing at each other. Who's gonna win? The one with more force. Second Amendment. Yeah. Second Amendment, for sure. The right to bear arms and to fight against a tyrannical a tyrannical government. Base Pro to a VTuber, you have my vote. Thank you. Like, I'm just thinking logically. It makes sense. You can't just sit on the side and keep whining. Why are things so bad? Okay, well, if you don't like it, then do something about it. I was stuck in that victim mentality for quite a long time myself because of my past and my upbringing and people putting me down all the damn time. But like those moments in Dragon Ball where Goku became Super Saiyan and Gohan became Super Saiyan 2, I snapped out of it. I stood my ground. I fought for what I believed was right. And that belief is, yeah, guns, right? Hold on. Since you mentioned guns, let me bring something up for you. Let me introduce you to my two friends, Smith and Wesson. I'm kidding. Let me put that away. I know it's only a virtual gun, but still. I don't want to get into some kind of trouble for whatever stupid reason, because you know how Twitch is. And YouTube, by that extension. Here's my God-given right to steal the ring pops from gas stations. I don't know about given right, but... I mean, if that's your choice, that's your choice. As for what other people would do based on their beliefs and decisions, we'll see. But yeah, that's what I was yapping about for the most part here. 'Cause that's something I have been thinking about for a while. What lessons can you learn from Dragon Ball? How will I explain what I learned from Dragon Ball? What would you take from the lessons, if any, from Dragon Ball? You can watch back on the VOD. I know it'll probably be like 40-50 minutes long of myself yapping. But if you want to hear it, it's there. Might be a good listen. The best lesson in anime is from Mirai Nikki, and it's don't fuck with crazy bitches. That's a good one. Indeed, I agree with that. I don't know about best. I'm not really the type to decide on, you know, like a favorite or a top 10 or whatever. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Well, ads are about to play, so I suppose I could take a quick break and then we can start the gaming. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm running into a weird problem where launching this game in Steam VR mode is acting up very, very strangely. So, I'm gonna go here, run this game in desktop mode first, because that is an option for this game. And let's see what's going on with this game. See if I can go into the options first. Let me just put this headset on my forehead so I can see my monitors. And let's see what's going on here. Enter my call sign. Here we go. There. Difficulty hard. Team proficiency. That's a strange option. High. Architect. That low. Implementation, camera mode, UI color. Give me green. 08, invincible. Invincible? Why is that an option? That's funny. This might be the problem here. Oh, well, there's no window full screen. Monitor 1. Got the frame rate. Easing off. Graphics. No, this seems fine. Audio. Do something like that, I guess. Controllers, binding. What does open track mean? Rotation sync. Translation. Haptic feedback. Vertical. Throttle type. Auto throttle. Auto aim. Sure, I'll put that on like medium. The control bindings, I can change that in VR. Okay, now that I got through all of that, let's see if it actually works in VR. So close the game. And then open it again in Steam VR mode. And let's hope this runs correctly. Nope, it's still bugging out like shit, as you can see. Why is it doing that? I wonder. I wonder. Does anyone in the Steam VR forums say anything? Let's talk about VR in Linux. Class saves, keyboard, check IR, submit logs and crash. Okay, so they talked about switching from OpenVR to OpenXR, which that shouldn't be a problem for me because I'm using SteamVR, which it's compatible with both. So what is going on here? I don't want to be playing this game on desktop. I wanted to play it in VR. This is why you picked up this game. What the fair? I guess one suggestion given here is to use a launch option. VR mode open VR. Let's see if that works. Nope, same exact problem here. Why is it doing that? What the hell? I did not think I would run into this kind of tech problem so early on. This is a problem. Right, so this launch option is not helping. What else might be the problem here? I tried verifying the files. I looked at the game version. It's the only one up and available. The default public version. Cloud save are enabled. Steam overlay is active. Like, what else can I do here? This is a problem. I don't know what else to do about this. What can I do? Now I gotta do some research here. Hold on. Why does this do this to me? Let me see. Hmm. That's one of the problems with these not very well known games. Not much feedback and support on it because it's not very well known. So what the hell am I supposed to do about this? Do I have a conflicting app running? Could it be XS overlay? Could it be OVR advanced settings? Let me try ending OVR advanced settings, see if that does anything. Okay, so that's gone. So let's try launching this again, see what happens. Nope, it's still acting crazy. But why? Why does it do this? I don't understand. Ah! This is the problem of being a VR content creator. We already have barely much content to go through. And then we have to deal with stuff like this. It's just this is so annoying. Yeah, it's just refusing to show correctly on VR mode. I don't know why though. Well darn. I'm gonna have to figure out something else. Because this is ridiculous. Man, I was looking forward to playing this too, because something like Star Fox in VR? That sounds like my kind of thing. I wanted to try that. But the game is fucking up on launch. It's not showing correctly in VR. Like, sure, I can play this on desktop, because that is an option. But I wanted to play it in VR. That's why I picked up this game. That's annoying. So that failed. So I have to figure out something else. So, what to play instead? I just noticed something with my 3D model tracking. Let me fix something real quick. It's with the feet alignment. Okay, so standing up straight, legs out. How does that look? Okay, that looks more aligned actually. So if I crouch down, yeah, that looks a little more aligned. So we'll save it like that. But damn, this is so annoying. Now I have to figure out something else. What else do I have here? Oh, that's so annoying. I have to rename this then. Maybe I'll play some Legendary Tales. There we go. Now, how well will this run while I am streaming? That I have not tested. But I'm gonna try anyways. Okay. It's lagging a little bit. Maybe I can turn some of the graphics options down then. Yeah, it's jittering a little bit. Yeah, my frames are dropping somewhat. Let's switch overlay to show chat on my palm. Let me check some of the options here. Graphic. How would medium look? That's a little better. not much else I can change from that. Alright, well, I guess we'll try with that. Yeah, stuff like this, so I wish I had a dual PC setup instead. Let me swap hot batteries. Okay. Okay, it's a lot more laggy when I'm testing. Like, if I were to play this normally, it would run fine, but now that I'm streaming and showing a 3D model, I don't know. It's quite jittery. I don't know. I'll try for a little bit. Oh gosh. Oh, jumping two things? No, there's... Yeah. That's the backside. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could just brute force them. Am I weird? Why am I using a katana? Because it's slightly longer than some of the arming swords. What? You didn't ask? Well, I'm giving an answer anyways. Not that sometimes I drop 2 items, but they're so useless. Do the archer first. Oh, looked like a Zweihander. Open that door. Hope I don't have to go through the... I think I just sneak around them. The Necromancer. Can I just go around him? You don't see me. You don't see me. What's with these collision points? I was floating up in the air for a moment. You don't see me. Yeah. There's some kind of invisible collision here. That was weird. What have I picked up? Not much. Zweihander. 6 to 12 damage? It's pretty neat. Alright, this is a legendary dagger. Could be using its ability to do more damage. Let's begin, shall we? Okay, it's a little less laggy here. I feel like the different graphics often didn't really make much of an effect. At least I'll turn it back up to high. Yeah, honestly that made almost no difference. Ow. Ow. Yeah, I'm all up in your face. What you gonna do? Oh. Floating heads and they got armor now. Still alive. Ow. Jerk. Where's the second floating head? Where'd they go? They... Oh, there you are. Yeah. Oh, ground spikes. Better be careful about that. Oh gosh. Huh? There's a bat! Hmm? Yeah. Oh. my stick drift going to the left. That's gonna be your problem. Two doors. Huh. How do I open this one? Phew. Okay, well, this one has a button. Oh gosh. That! Purple. Oh, a shield. That must be nice. The bat! Yeah. Ooh, got an epic legendary. Legendary bow. Okay. I might make use of that. Let's see what this bow is. Forest Keeper. Multi-shot. More dex, more physical damage. Oh, from range is reduced. Recovery after each kill. Yeah, it might be better than this legendary shield out there. Multi-shot. With the in a fan shape. There's a little shield on it too. So in an emergency I can parry it like a buckler. Fascinating. Okay, well that's good for ranged, I guess. Hey, just threw a rock at me. Hey, you just threw another rock at me. Yeah, you want to keep tossing rocks at me? Huh? Yeah, I got quite a lot of items now. Suppose I can go back and dismantle some for crafting materials. Alright, well, I can continue this way. Not worry about traps. No hidden walls. Let's was that opened that other door? Let's find out. It sure did. And they're swinging pendulums. There's this big door. It's gated off. Ow. I didn't even mean to reflect your fire breath back at you. Just suck at aiming. Now let me head back real quick. I'm stuffed with items. Nah. Okay. Put all those in. Right then. We can continue. Oh, come on. That's what you get for sticking your arm through the door. Ah! Oh, that was just rude. If you notice how I'm passing up the whites and the blues, common, common, rare, epic, unique, and then legendary. White is common, blue is rare. They say rare, but it's not really. Yellow is epic. Pink is unique, which is above epic. And the orange, those are the legendaries, like this one. Okay, I have 2 ways to go again. I just fucking know it. Aha! I knew it. Ow! Huh. Is that it for this room? I guess so. Oh? What's this about? skull water? Thirsty. They said if I guard this spot for a while, I'd get all the beer I want. These worthless creatures. There's a skull here that's complaining about being thirsty. He's asked me to get him a drink. That's his final wish. I don't know how that's going to work. We got no organs for ingesting. You're just a skeleton. But okay. I got this. Will this work? You want more than that? Oh, I gotta start searching for these. This bum-ass skeleton is asking for drinks. Drinks for a skeleton. How is a skeleton gonna drink? Ah, stick drift, come on. I know, right? Stick drift in 2026. Yeah, that's meta controllers for ya. These Quest controllers suck. Can I buy drinks? Maybe? Would potions work? There's a lot of drinks. I don't know if I can make any. I can upgrade the potions too. Fascinating. I don't have much drink to you, man. I'm seriously searching for drinks now. So generous with these items, but not the ones I'm looking for. These spikes are working again. Seriously, though, tell me how a skeleton is gonna drink. Oh god, my game froze. Fatal error? Oh my gosh. I am having very bad luck with streaming today. Oh god damn it. That's not working either. This is so silly. Well, I give up for today. I had a good yap and not a good gaming session, so guess I'll call it here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next mission. Log and fucking hell.